Let's go. Streaming data free on the MTN network in South Africa.
This is Omni Sports.
T's and C's apply.
Support the defending champions of WAFCON. They are up against Tanzania, so let's take a look at how they fare here. And I've got my fingers crossed because Steph said it. She said it so well. She said Ghana weren't too much competition, although the women are bigger in stature and stronger compared to our players. She spoke about the midfield, what needs to happen there. She spoke about a lack of having Thembi Kgatlana in the national team. However, in her opinion, this is what she had to say, what they need to fix ahead of Tanzania. And then I think we'll even go to Tso, who says, guys, why are you not supporting Banyana Banyana?
Obviously, it's our first game in defending our title. So, coming up opponents like Ghana, I was expecting a bit more of a fight. But then, obviously, going into the game, we managed to get that penalty pretty early on, take the lead. And then we kind of just eased into it. So I'm still trying to figure out if it is that Ghana just didn't challenge us, or if we are just that good that we just kind of treated it like a training game.
Yeah.
But it wasn't the most fiery performance. It wasn't explosive back to back. We weren't really tested that much. But I don't think that is a bad thing. It would have been a little bit more difficult for them because obviously we're missing the experience. We could see quite a few times the girls are trying to play the ball up to where Thembi normally would be. And we've always relied on her to bring us back into the game. And obviously we don't have her with us. I'm glad it didn't go the other way because I think we might have struggled to come back. But at least, 2 early goals. I would have hoped to actually have seen a goal come through in the second half. I know Ghana are coming back quite strong in the second half. They came really close a couple of times. Some good saves from Andile Dlamini as well. So, I'm just glad. We managed to get to two goals in, got 3 points. The guys can now settle down, focus on the next game, and just take it from there, take a game.
Can we support Coach Desiree and the girls there? Can we support them, please? The ladies, they've went there, sacrificed for us as a country. For everyone, all the South Africans, you can even stay, whether you're staying in Netherlands, in France, Spain, in Germany, in China, wherever, in Dubai. But those ladies there, they're there sacrificing their time instead of them spending with their families and friends and having a good time here at home. But they said, no, look, we're going to stand for the country. Please, guys, just support them. The same way when we support Bafana when they play, let's do the very same thing to the girls there. They always, guys, I don't know whether it's only me that feels this thing of really how these women, they're going through. But well done, coach. Well done, coach. Well done, girls. Well done, ladies. Well done. You always show us what is it that you can do and keep pushing. Keep pushing. One thing I've learned in football is that no one will take it away from you. Only you will take it away from yourself. And I wish you all the way, girls. I wish you all the way.
All right, so Banyana Banyana playing tonight. Let us support the women. As we segue now and we talk about what is happening in the PSL, because a lot of teams are actually on the preseason camps already. Some still to go on those camps, but we stay on the train of thought with Tso Velakazi, and he's talking about Oswin Apollos and why he should play ahead of Mahaon Kota. And then he also has a very interesting take on Mofokeng. Listen to this.
Right. Mofokeng can play right and left. But for now, I will put Apollos on the right. I'm not going to move Mofokeng on the left. Mofokeng will stay on the left. Apollos will go on the right. And I'm not going to play again Uluntuzana Mofokeng as number 10. No. Because I've seen him when they play him as number 10, he doesn't give us what we want or what we know of him. But when he's wide on the left, there he's gonna give you. So I'll keep him on the left and then Apollos on the right and allow our men there. I like this boy. I like this boy, Tito Maswangai. Let's leave him in that position and fight for to keep that position. Let's not complicate things. It's simple. A police right, Mufokeng left. Done. You cannot put Unkota ahead of a police that is in the national team. You cannot put Tusaling ahead of Mufokeng when Mufokeng is in the national team. It says a lot when you make those decisions to say, no, I need to start with the players that are in the national team, because it shows that they are good enough because they are in the national team in the Bafana. So they are good enough. I'm not saying Saling and Nkota are not good enough, but when you, by looking at things, when they select national team, both of them are there, and the other one is starting. So it's obvious when it comes to that, it's up to the coach in the Bafana to decide who to start. But there at Pirates, I'm saying this, they don't need to really pull up their socks and work more hard, because sharing a position with the player that plays in the Bafana, that's not an easy one. I remember at some point I was in that situation at Pirates where we had Abutabo Mngomeni, Gofro Sapula, Chabo Mnguni, the late Vusemnwango, Ernest Mtawali, all those guys, they were in the national team. About Tomisango, Spiti Piti. They were in the national team. And I was fighting a position in that midfield with those Makhotmane Lao. So that's not an easy one. So you need to work double. When you play, you're sharing a position with a player that is in the national team and you are not there. You need to work double than those guys. So it goes to say, Gunkota and Saleng, you guys, you are good. Not that you are not good, we are good.
So Mthokozisi Dube, then the editor out of the Far Post, he weighs in on the conversation, but he's talking about Sipho Mbule and how it is that he is the best attacking midfielder. This is in his opinion, and if it is that you beg to differ, please go ahead and leave your comments on our social media. We're on all the platforms. Facebook, it's Omni Audio. TikTok, YouTube, and Insta, it's Omni Audio Africa. So then he talks about Mbule, and he also talks about Oswin, whom he thought was going to, I think we all thought, was going to end up at Kaizer Chiefs.
Look, he's, for me, and I keep saying that, and I say it fearlessly, he's the best midfielder, attacking midfielder that we have in South Africa currently. And I think he needs this change, He's been to Sundowns, it's not worked. He's been to Skukune, it didn't work. Now he goes to a Pirates where things are done a bit different. You won't behave as you want, and I think he needs that kind of environment. There's a new coach who seems to love him, and the coach says, "Look, it's my responsibility to make sure that I get the best out of this boy. We're gonna sit down with him and speak to him." So maybe that change could be good for him. Also, I mean, he's not growing any younger. He won't get too many chances as big as this if he messes this one up. And he comes into a team that, from a playing point of view, needs him. He's a starter in that team. I mean, at Sundowns it was arguable because they've got a whole lot of other quality players. But here, he's a starter in that team. So maybe this is the right move. Maybe this could be the move that gets him, straight. I heard someone saying Pirates should deal with him the way they, and someone was also saying maybe they should get Jabu Pule to sit down with him and have a conversation with him. So maybe this could be the club that gets. Look, I would have thought he would go to Kaizer Chiefs, but we do know that Polokwane City refused to sell him to Kaizer Chiefs. There was an offer even in January of close to 10 million rands, but they wouldn't sell. I mean, it came to a point where the chairman of Chiefs reached out to the chairman of Polokwane City, but still, that was not enough. So the interesting thing is how Pirates got the deal done, when these guys were so clear that this boy was not for sale, So yeah, I guess it answers your why question.
And so the comments are coming in thick and fast, I see there, as to why Aussie should have gone to Chiefs and not Pirates. Well, Pirates fans, I'm happy to see that you're happy with the signings. I mean, I'm not too sure if Kaizer Chiefs fans are as happy with the signings that needed to happen there, or that did happen there. I've been talking about a mismatch with Coach Nabi and Kaizer Chiefs for the longest time, and that is my opinion, which I'm entitled to, by the way. And what else is happening? Oh, it's Coach Gavin Hunt. Now, if it is a man that never goes very long without a job, it happens to be him. I mean, the other day he just reached a milestone as well. I mean, I think 1,000, what was it? 1,000 games, was it? Hey, can you see now my short-term memory? I'm giving my age away. But nonetheless, if it is a man that I can listen to forever, it is Brad Jakes. And he weighs in on exactly that. He weighs in on Durban City, finding Coach Gavin and saying, you're the man for the job, because he has proven this so many times. A SuperSport United that is no longer there, under the tutelage of Coach Gavin Hunt, look how successful they were as well. So he talks about that. Coach Nabi, as well as, well, the Chiefs signings. I mean, we're talking already about an Oswin that should have gone this way instead of that way. And also, guys, it was the player. It was the player who wanted to end up at Nature Arena in any case. And now you guys are here firing imaginary shots. Nonetheless, let's hear what Brad Jakes has to say.
The reality of football is there is no room for comment in the results column. The results will always say Gavin Hunt has won 4 league titles. He's going to go to Durban City. I can bet you now. So my challenge with what is happening at Durban City, I'm hearing that they might hire Ernst Middendorp as the technical director. I find Gavin Hunt and Ernst Middendorp are almost similar, but they are crybabies. They whinge a lot. They complain. I don't know if they'll work together, but if they can click, you are not going to see the nicest of football. That's for sure. But they'll deliver. Gavin Hunt is going to deliver. I know now, after what happened at SuperSport United, a lot of people, like you just said, you feel Gavin is washed up, you feel he failed at SuperSport. Gavin Hunt is going to want to make sure that we realize just how good a coach he is. He is not going to get to Durban City and fail like he did. I think a lot of us as soccer fans, we make too much of a big deal about preseason matches. Preseason is all about building up. You're trying new combinations. Yes, he hasn't started, but remember, these new guys have just arrived. Chiefs have about 4 matches to still play in the Netherlands. He's going to give them all a chance. He's going to try. Nasreddin Nabi is a decorated coach. Yes, he didn't impress us last season, but he did well in Morocco. He did well in what's that place, Tanzania, when he was there. There was talk that they wanted him as a coach in Tunisia. So he's a coach. Why would he not want to win? I think he wants to win. He will do well. I think let's not be too judgmental early on. I for one am not necessarily impressed with Chiefs signings. I've said it on the show previously that I thought Chiefs would sign bigger players. Chiefs have lost it. Chiefs used to sign players who belonged to Kaizer Chiefs. You watched a player and say, this is a Chiefs player, in the mold of a Teenage Dladla, in the mold of a Sylvester Kule, in the mold of a McTovey or a Neil Tovey, a Lucas Khadebe, Jabupule. They've not really done that this year. The names that they've signed, we looked at, Ethan Chislett. A lot of us were very surprised by Chiefs signing this young man from England. Yes, he's from Durban. Chiefs signings, Pasika Marco, good player who played for long at Pirates, but injuries blighted his career, and it's almost like Chiefs said, Chiefs are taking Pirates rejects. A lot of people feel that way, but let's give them a chance. It's the season has not yet begun.
It's Renil Wiletolanyane, and talking about SuperSport United, because as we know, that status has now been sold to Siwelele, and he was hoping that didn't happen, holding on to fond memories for him. He also goes as far as saying more local coaches in South Africa, and I'm on the fence about this one. I would like to see more African coaches on the African continent coaching African teams. Then I even go a little further and I think, all right, so CAF wants coaches to have badges. But the coaches with badges, take a Sean Bartlett, for example, are not the ones who are getting the jobs. I'm not really saying that the others don't have, but I'm just saying they go the extra mile, they get their badges. Then I go even further and I think, okay, so if a player wants to be a coach but wants to get the badge, he can't get the badge while he's playing, because when are those trainings? They all happen in season, not off season, where a player who wants to get their coaching badges can get their coaching badges. Anyway, I guess it's a story also for another day. And European preseason. We know Chiefs are currently in the Netherlands. Pirates are in Spain. I'm not too sure where Banyana Banyana are heading. But nonetheless, that is all happening. And yeah weighs in on those topics.
I remember last season before it started, there were rumors of SuperSport or Eyarekiswa. And I was like, I hope it does not happen. And then lucky the season started, SuperSport was part of that season. And seeing the struggle on the field, it also brought that thought, this might be a trigger, right?
Yeah.
And surviving. I think at the last few games, the same conversation started again.
Yeah.
And then because you see the performance on the field, I convince you.
Yeah.
And that would also give the boss a reason to say, let's sell before and whatnot. And then finally when I had, so when it was confirmed, it is always said to lose a team like SuperSport United. We've witnessed the same vets. I would love one day to watch a derby game where both coaches are local. Check it. All the seasons or throughout the years, when Chiefs Pirates hire a coach from Serbia, other coaches, everyone else goes to Serbia. When Chiefs or Pirates go to Spain,
lead the way.
Everyone else goes to. So it's more of a their top teams in the country, big teams, and they set the trends. It is always a good thing to move people from familiarity, from being in their comfort zone, and over where they will have to be a bit of uncomfortable, and also in terms of the level where Batho Nkoteng, it's a bit higher than Mobile Nkoteng.
Of course.
I mentioned it again a week ago, that when you are playing a team, elenko level go above your level, you are forced to catch up.
Lift up.
Games go Europe helps players, mental strength, the attitude, who are a bit of uncomfortable to deal with the conditions that makes them uncomfortable, and then be able to, when they have a fita mochae, hopefully that whatever that you learn kontle, you stay with it. Because what tends to happen is how fita mochae, and then you play with people that you are used to, undermining especially, and then you tend now to drop your level, and then it becomes a problem. So whatever you learn, whatever they learn outside, when they come back, they must put it to you, so that it will help them to win games.
All right, we move on to cricket, and a man who makes me love cricket happens to be Mpho Motlwane. He talks obviously about, well, I guess it was a bit of a debate between the two of us in terms of what is cricket. It is a team sport at the end of the day. However, individuals need to shine. And then the team also needs to shine as a collective. You see why I love football? It's a quick 90 minutes. And off we go, right? Team collective. And you can clearly see it's a team collective. I think cricket operates a little differently and lets us in as to the individuals that needed to shine, why they declared, when they did, and just the coach's influence on what they do. You know, do the individuals shine or not? I find it confusing, but Mpho puts it into perspective.
Vian's a team man. Vian bats wherever he wants. If you listen to whatever the coach wants me to do, wherever I want to, wherever the team wants me to do. And it kind of like it felt, because it's his first test, he didn't want to make it all about him. And getting to 400 and getting past 400, you also added pressure on him going forward to say that, well, you did score 400 runs, right? And so I don't get the declaration, but I get the declaration from a team standpoint to say that this is what we had agreed in the morning. We got there. You didn't get to 400 by lunch. Unfortunately, we're calling it.
But I mean, don't plans change also?
Yes, plans should change, and I think that for me is the issue that I have. It's a one-dimensional way of looking at it, and then to say that you want to let legends have their records, no. They're there to, because here's the thing: when we scored 438 against Australia on that beautiful day in Johannesburg, what is it? 2 years later, England did. Who was it? Pakistan did it against the Netherlands. And then you're sitting there going, "Is that worthy?" And then only like 2, 3, 4 years later, England did it, and you're like, "Okay, fine, maybe they are worthy." No, they're not. It's a record. If you sit there for 5 days, you sit there for 5 days. New Zealand are bringing a very strong team to Bulawayo to play them in the tests. It could be gone in a month. But you're sitting here thinking, no, let the legends have their records and all of that. I don't know. It kind of speaks to the type of players that Shukri wants, those who are not necessarily wanting stardom and they just want to be there for the team, rather than necessarily just, sometimes you want someone to be selfish and say, give me the...
So somebody in the studio is excited to see Aswan Apala's play a little later, and he'll be glued to the Pirates YouTube. No names mentioned. We also spoke about F1. I spoke to Prince. This was just ahead of Horner leaving, but he talks about Verstappen, his car, and then also with the 2-week break till the next Grand Prix, what is it that the petrol heads will be up to?
It's tricky. Still 50-50. I wouldn't rule him out entirely because you never know what's going to happen. However, performance-wise, he definitely doesn't have a car to just say that's a championship-winning car. But Max can make circumstances turn around a lot of the time when you least expect them to. I mean, for one, he got pole position. From there, his plan obviously was to interrupt and disrupt the racing, control the strategy pattern as to when he pits, frustrates the racing drivers behind him. You see, he maximizes a situation which isn't ideal. How many races can he keep that up for, though? It's a 24-race long season. I mean, come on. That's a tough thing to do. His bundle might be... we've seen the peak of what perhaps he could do with a car that can't punch above its weight, and right now the reality is going to set in that those McLarens are untouchable. It's a long way off, isn't it? It feels like forever. So for them, I think it'll be an appreciated break for one, but also assessing what their car can and can't do based on the circuits that they've been at. So they want to see what the car does in elevation changes, strength of their suspension, for example. That's going to come in handy when it comes to Eau Rouge and the high compression parts of the Spa Grand Prix circuit. Looking at a very high speed circuit overall as well. The back straight is quite long. You're flat out there quite a bit. So they're assessing all those strengths and trying to see how they can maximize on that, because Spa is a unique challenge, but it's a high speed challenge. So I think that's the focus right now. How fast can we get the car in high trim, and how much downforce do they want to dial into the car? Because the British Grand Prix, McLaren, for example, had a very high downforce setup. That's why they were so quick. What that means is inherently the car is going to be generating a lot more force, getting it closer into the ground by way of the air. It doesn't have to do too much work to try and manipulate air based on speed, because inherently it's just with the floor and some of the main wing settings, it's just getting much more downforce. So that's the kind of thinking around going into Spa.
And in a nutshell, that's a thought leadership here on the show with the different contributors. I mean, so really hitting the nail hard on the head in terms of Banyana Banyana and where it is that we stand when it comes to the women's national team support, because I think we don't do enough of that. And then on the 11th hour, then we're all at the airport like we've always been supporting, when that isn't the case, I know TS Galaxy tonight hosting their women's team as they have players in the national team to sit and watch together. I know JVW are doing something similar. And so I think it shouldn't just be about women footballers who support women football. It should be about all of us. I guess if it is that we as women don't have the control also and expose, let's say, our kids to football, to women's football, who is going to? And at the end of the day, Steph and I had that debate as to, we wanted to grow. Yes. It is WAFCON at the moment, the Women's Africa Cup of Nations, yes. We've got a Zambia, Nigeria, and a South Africa that are sitting back and saying, where are our bonuses? Why aren't we paid? And why is it that things are not sorted prior to going to something as big as this? Because you want to see it in lights, you want to elevate women's football, but then at the end of the day, these are still the very issues that are happening behind closed doors. How do we elevate women's football? How do we grow it? How do we allow our daughters to play when you take a step back and you take a look and you see that everything isn't okay? And there still is that disparity, men and women. I mean, take a look at our league, which is touted to be in South Africa, the best on the African continent. And the men have everything. That red carpet is rolled out in terms of clubs, in terms of pitches, where they play, stadia. I mean, we're not going to filter it down, I guess, to the NFD or the Motsepa, but if you just look at the professional league, and then you look at the women's league that stops and starts, that has lost a sponsor, that has been with the national team for years. If you take a look at the league, then the Super League, the Women's Super League that stops and starts, and yes, I want to say it's growing, and I don't want to say in leaps and bounds, and I don't even want to make the comparison to the men's game because this is how the scale looks. But it has to grow. We want it to grow. And I guess you know who has that entire Encyclopedia Britannica on women's football on the continent is Fran Hilton Smith. And I'm sure she sits back now in her retirement days, takes a look at the game and thinks, okay, we've brought it to a certain level, but it's plateaued, it's stagnated. And I say this because I really do want to see women's football in the country flourish. And I say this on the back of, obviously, them playing Tanzania tonight, and I have my fingers crossed that they do go all the way. Just some food for thought. Have an amazing weekend. We're back on Monday. You know where to find us. Facebook, YouTube, Insta, TikTok. We're Omni Audio Africa.